Every time you crash, starting again gets harder, the guilt builds up, confidence drops, and the cycle repeats. But there's one rule that breaks that cycle for good, not a habit stack, not a morning routine. One rule: master it, and consistency stops being something you chase and starts being something you naturally do. My friend, when I first tried to build something real, I didn't start small. I tried to redesign my entire life in one weekend. I went all in. Early alarms, strict routines, long focus blocks, reading, journaling, clean eating, no late nights. Everything optimized, everything controlled. It felt like the moment everything would finally click. Week 1, sharp, focused. I felt like the person I wanted to become. Week 2, the cracks started showing. Still moving, but it felt heavier than it should. Week 3, I missed a few mornings. Told myself I'd reset on Monday. Missed Monday. And slowly let everything fall apart. The goals weren't wrong. The problem was the volume. Too many changes at once with no room for error. So when one thing slipped, the whole system felt broken, even though most of it was actually working. Your brain treats sudden extreme change like a threat. It doesn't support you, it pushes back. And it burns through your willpower faster than you can rebuild it. Motivation doesn't fix that. Willpower has limits. And stacking 10 new habits at once hits that limit by day 4. 1% works because it doesn't trigger that reaction. 1 extra rep, 1 extra page, 10 focused minutes on something important. Nothing overwhelming, so resistance doesn't show up, and the habit quietly builds until it becomes something bigger than you expected. Small doesn't mean weak. Small means it survives real life. Build something simple enough to still be running 6 months from now. That's the real game. Let me tell you something nobody warned me about. Compounding sounds simple until you actually live it. Then it catches you off guard. At the start, it feels like nothing. You show up daily, check after a month, and the results don't match the effort. So you think it's not working. You quit. You try something new, and you wonder why consistency never sticks, not realizing you keep quitting right before it pays off. Think of water dripping on stone. 1 drop does nothing. 100 drops, still nothing visible. But keep that same drip hitting the same spot every day. Eventually, it cuts through rock. The change doesn't look gradual. It stays flat, 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 then suddenly it's obvious. That's not slow progress. That's a long, flat line, then a sharp curve. I spent months improving my craft, writing, learning to pitch, understanding the business. Weeks passed with no wins, no confidence boost, no signs it was working. Just quiet effort in the background. Then around month 3, something shifted. I started noticing things I used to miss. Conversations became easier, decisions got faster. People started treating me differently before I even saw the change in myself. That's the curve doing its job. The flat phase is part of the process. Then it bends, then it speeds up. The people who quit in the flat phase never see what comes next. Invisible and ineffective are not the same thing. Knowing the difference is half the battle. Here's the part most people avoid. The 1% rule works both ways. Bad habits grow faster than good ones because they're easier. They feel like relief. Skip one workout, fine. Eat badly one day, normal. Delay one important task, no big deal. The problem is, it's never just one. It becomes the new default, and defaults compound. Do that for a year and you're not slightly behind. You're at around 3% of where you started. Not a small drop, almost a complete collapse. And the worst part, it never feels like a collapse. It feels like small, reasonable decisions. One standard lowered, one habit skipped, one delay justified, nothing dramatic. But everything adds up. Every small choice is either helping you or hurting you. There is no neutral. Once you truly understand that, you stop treating daily actions like they don't matter. There's a type of person that used to confuse me. Usually the most capable one in the room, never loud, never showing off the grind. They just show up, same energy, same routine, then 6 months later, they're on a completely different level. People say they're lucky, talented, had a head start. They weren't, they were consistent. Intensity is loud and short-lived. A 2-week sprint feels productive, but it's not sustainable. Consistency is quiet, smaller effort, but it never runs out. It's still going in month 6, when motivation is gone and nobody is watching. Over time, consistency beats talent, beats intensity, beats everything. The people playing the long game don't need to announce it. The results speak for them. Let's be honest, the 1% rule is not fast. Train for a month, you don't look different. Practice a skill, you don't feel better. Save money, it still looks small. That's the flat phase, it's not failure, it's part of the process. This is where most people quit, right before things start moving. Getting through this phase isn't about willpower, it's about understanding. Progress is building under the surface, even when you can't see it, like a spring being compressed. The pressure builds silently. then releases fast. The hardest part isn't the work, it's the silence, weeks of effort with no visible reward. Most people see that silence as a signal to quit. It's not. It's a signal to keep going. Learn to see silence as neutral, not negative. The patient ones win because they stay long enough to see the result. The 1% rule doesn't fail because it's hard. It fails because it's boring. We've been trained to believe progress should feel dramatic. Big effort, big struggle, big change. If it doesn't feel intense, it doesn't feel valuable. So people ignore small actions not because they don't work, but because they don't feel important. They wait for motivation, for the right time. And that waiting kills their progress. There's also the visibility problem. Nobody shows off one push-up. Nobody goes viral for reading 3 pages. This kind of work doesn't look impressive. So if your goal is to look productive instead of being productive, you won't stick with it. The people who succeed stop needing the work to feel important. They accept small, not as a compromise, but as a strategy. Talent isn't rare. Motivation isn't rare. What's rare is steady effort when nothing feels urgent. Anyone can go hard for a week. Almost nobody keeps moving forward for a full year. That gap between a week and a year is where everything is decided. Not in big moments, but in random Tuesdays when nothing feels meaningful and you still show up. That's the edge. Here's how to actually apply this. 1. Pick one area: fitness, money, skills, relationships. 2. Make the habit tiny, so easy you can't skip it. 3. Track it, build a streak. 4. Never skip twice. 5. Trust the process, even when nothing shows. This is where it starts. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Your life is shaped in the small moments you almost skip. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need perfect timing. You need one small action today and the willingness to repeat it tomorrow. That's it. Start before you're ready. Stay longer than feels necessary. Let the process do the rest.